So I'm going to be on the Texans plus the points here. 8.5, I think, is a really good number coming into this game. Neither the Kansas City Chiefs nor the Houston Texans have been really good against the spread this season. Chiefs are 8-9, while the Texans enter this game with a 500 record ATS. And Kansas City has the potential to not only win the Super Bowl, but, create the dynasty here, winning 3 in a row. However, they haven't necessarily done it by winning blowouts this season. They've won close games, and I think we're going to see another one here. Because when you look at the Houston Texans, especially on defense, they've been really good this season. Offensively, they still have another level they can get to. And we may or may not see that in this game, but I do like the Chiefs to keep it close because that's what they've done all year. Now we enter that debate, rest versus rust. Patrick Mahomes hasn't thrown football since Christmas Day, and many of the Chiefs starters have been off since then as well. Kansas City needed to get healthy. They needed that break. But at the same time, too, I think it could be a slow start in this one. A lot of people doubted Houston last week against the Chargers. Lucky I came on the show, Joe. This is one of the reasons I was lucrative last weekend. Picking the Houston Texans against the LA Chargers. They found a way to win. And when you look at their defense, they're 7th in defensive rusher rating, 4th in defensive passer rating, according to coldhardfootballfacts.com. I think the defense is good enough to keep them in the game. I really don't think they have a chance to win it. But the fact of the matter is Chiefs have won close games all year, so I do like the Texans to keep it close down the stretch here, and maybe a late Patrick Mahomes drive put this one out of reach. So I'm going to go with the Lions minus 6.5 first half against the Commanders. At first, when Washington beat the Buccaneers, looking at this matchup, I was like, maybe the Commanders have a chance in it. And then when you really look at the numbers, I fear that last week against the Buccaneers, it was Washington's Super Bowl. And now you're coming into nearly an unwinnable situation with one of the fastest starting teams in the NFL. The Lions' Week 18 defensive performance gives me some confidence that they can come into this game and limit Jaden Daniels. I do think he's going to get his shots down the field. I think he's going to be able to run the ball and score a little bit here because the Lions' defense is not the strength of their team. But if they can tighten up in the red zone just like they did against the Minnesota Vikings, they're going to be very good in this game. They rank 4th in bendability according to coldhardfootballfacts.com, and bendability is a stat that measures how tough you are in the red zone, how tough you are when it comes to making teams fight for points. And they've done a really good job with that this season. Now, the Commanders' weak spot is their defense. This is the reason that Washington probably will not be able to stay in this game. They have one of the worst secondaries in the NFL. They've allowed big plays through the air all season. And when you just look at Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, and a healthy David Montgomery coming back for this game, I think the Lions can score pretty consistently here. So the fast start should help them. I'm okay laying the 9.5 points for the full game, but I do like the first half spread just a little more. This is going to be a really good game. I'm really excited to see what the Eagles can do against a blazing hot Rams team coming into this game. If we think back to last time out against the Rams for the Eagles, Saquon Barkley rushed for 255 yards on 26 carries, and he has the capability to do that again, don't get me wrong. But if I'm the LA Rams, I am making sure that I stop the run completely in this game. I'm loading the box, I'm blitzing, run blitzes every single play if I have to, because I can't get beat by Saquon. But when you do that, you leave guys open down the field. And there were moments last week for the Minnesota Vikings where guys could have won one-on-one matchups if Sam Darnold got the ball off. I think this is going to be a situation where the Eagles are able to get the ball off. So I like A.J. Brown over 68.5 receiving yards. When you look at the Eagles' passing attack, it has been limited, and that's why I'm thinking coming into this game, if I am the Los Angeles Rams, I'm saying make the Eagles beat me through the air. A.J. Brown had over 100 yards last time out against the L.A. Rams. I think he has another big game here, especially if they're keying in on the run. Los Angeles is 23rd in defensive passer rating. Their defense has been better, but it's still the liability on their team here. And Jalen Hurts has the ability to have a pretty big day. Brown's been very inconsistent. That's my one fear with betting him coming into this one. He's only targeted 3 times last week, caught 1 pass for 10 yards against the Packers. But overall, he has the big games where he pops off. He has the matchup to do it. I'm going to trust him here, as painful as it is looking at his stats, seeing that there's games with 30 receiving yards and then seeing that there's games with over 100. This could be my favorite prop because it's been a cash cow. We think back to the Lions' first half spread that we talked about a minute ago. This has been the real cash cow. Lamar Jackson over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Got the numbers right here. He's only missed this one time in his past 12 games, and he's hit it in 7 straight games. he has been fantastic. And, that's the reason we saw him win first team All Pro and get those votes over Josh Allen here. And, MVP aside, Lamar Jackson has been the best quarterback in the NFL this season, no matter how that award comes out. But when you look at Lamar Jackson as far as throwing the football, been really good this season. Zay Flowers, one of those great receivers. Mark Andrews has really come along. He went from an offensive lineman earlier in the year to a stud target now. Baltimore's really clicking at the right time here. And I do think this is going to be a tight game. I mean, there's a lot of people on Baltimore, a lot of people on Buffalo. You could flip a coin for who's going to win this one. It could come down to the final drive. But I expect Lamar Jackson to be very good in this game. He ranks first in offensive passer rating, offensive real quarterback rating, offensive real passing yards per attempt, according to coldhardfootballfacts.com. And the Buffalo Bills do have an average secondary. There's ways to beat them down the field here. So if they get close to the end zone, I see the Buffalo Bills maybe keying on Derrick Henry, trying to stop him close to the goal line, and that opens up Lamar to have some passing touchdowns. And also, he's a king at extending plays as well, and that just only helps him hit this line here. So I like Lamar Jackson to go over 1.5 on the passing touchdowns.
I love that play. I'm going to tell you, but I'm telling you because I'm someone who's a Ravens backer, a Ravens better in this one. I know you just said I'm not going to hold it to you. It's not going to go against your record, best bet status. I know this one can go either way. Who do you like, though? Come on.
It's a tough one. When I look at the overall team for, both sides, I do think the Ravens are better. The line opened, it's them as a slight dog. They're now a slight favorite here. I don't see how you stop Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson and all the talent this offense has if they play up to their ability. Now, you look at the Buffalo Bills early in the season, we said this is one of the worst casts of talent that Josh Allen has around him. And that narrative has changed because of how well he has played. But I think the Buffalo Bills are so heavily reliant on how Josh Allen plays, where the Baltimore Ravens have the slightly better team. Lamar has to be great in this game. There's no doubt about it. However, you can lean on Derrick Henry. You can lean on the run game. James Cook's obviously great for Buffalo, but I just think the overall talent for the Baltimore Ravens is a little better. I do have my fears about the secondary for them. They need to be able to stop the pass, which has been inconsistent this season. But if I'm looking at the better overall team, it is the Baltimore Ravens, even though Buffalo is right there with them.